This week's Torah portion introduces us to the wicked cities of Sodom and Gomorrah, so much so that they were actually completely destroyed by God. What was really their evilness? It was the fact that they refused to provide hospitality to anybody. It was a closed city. They were all about themselves. Interestingly, we have 6 chapters of sayings from the rabbis called Ethics of Our Fathers. And in chapter 5, it tells us that there are 4 types of people. There's a person who says, what is mine is yours, and what yours is mine. That's a silly person. There's someone who says, what is mine is yours, and what's yours is yours. That's a pious person. What is mine, and what's yours is mine. That's a wicked person. But then there's a person who says, what's mine is mine, and what's yours is yours. That's an average person. But then there's this caveat. Some say that when you say what is mine, and what's yours is yours, that is the character trait of the people of Sodom. Question is why? I mean, it's not good, it's not bad. But why is it when somebody says what's mine is mine and what's yours is yours, why are we being associated with such an evil known city? And the answer is, what was at the core? What was the problem of Sodom? Sodom had the attitude that, listen, I don't want anything from you. If I don't want anything from you, don't take anything from me. Even in a case where I don't lose benefit. Nothing off of my back. But still, I'm not going to ask you for anything, and you don't ask me for anything. That is the beginning of a selfish and egocentric city. The fact that you don't want anything from anybody else doesn't give you an excuse not to be nice. Doesn't give you an excuse not to be helpful, especially when it doesn't come at a cost. This idea that a society wants to somehow be the best. I won't be a pariah to you, just don't come asking me for anything. That's not how civilization functions. And by the way, there are plenty of people that say, listen, I'm not going to ask you for help, don't ask me for help. That's fair. Shouldn't it be that way? Well, yes. Some would call it an average behavior. But Ethics of Our Fathers say that's not average at all. That's the beginning of a civilization, a city that will begin to erode. It also begins to create a population of people that simply aren't happy with the successes of others. And that's also not a good trait. There was a famous rabbi about 200 years ago by the name of Rabbi Levi Yitzchak Berditchev. And Rabbi Levi Yitzchak Berditchev, when he became the rabbi, he said, don't call me for a meeting where there is nothing new to be discussed, where you don't plan to, create some new edict in town. If it's not new, don't call me. Call me for new business that you need my opinion on. So one day they called him to a meeting, and the discussion of the meeting was that they wanted to stop the paupers, the schnorrers, from banging on each door. If they want, come to the synagogue, go to the person who's in charge of the funds, and he'll give them out, but he doesn't. The city decided they don't want anybody bothering anybody in their homes. So Rabbi Levi Yitzchak started to walk out of the room. So they said, where are you going? He says, I told you, don't call me unless there's something new. He says, this is new. We never had this rule before. He says, no, it's not new. This rule is very old. Maybe it's new for the city, but it's a rule that they had in the cities of Sodom and Gomorrah. They also didn't want anyone knocking on anyone's door. They didn't want anybody bothering anybody. Even if they said, we won't bother you. But that's not the Jewish way. And the Lubavitcher Rebbe had even a much deeper insight, that the Ethics of Our Fathers says, not that he behaves that way or she behaves that way. It says, These are 4 types of people. If they say this, of course you're not allowed to behave that way. But you're not allowed to even think it or say it. One should not have that attitude at all. So, be a giver. Even if you think that you'll never, Baruch Hashem, have a need to get the favor repaid. And always be someone who's happy for the successes of others. Have a great Shabbos.